Man, nah, cut the beat off. I'm mad. So, if you're joining this podcast right now, you probably just watched the Mavs snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Coming into the game, we knew it was going to be one of those games where neither team played defense and both teams scored 150 points. That is exactly what happened. And in that situation, that means that it's going to come down to who finishes the game the best. The Mavs, for stretches of the game, played very smart basketball. They have no big men, literally. So you drive to the lane or you feed your big men in the mid post or the low post and make them either foul you or have to gain rebound to keep you off the glass. Now, again, we did that for stretches. Things worked out for us. Boban came in, had a huge impact for a while. Porzingis, dominant when he was doing those things. Luka getting to the rim at will pretty much for a long stretches of the game. But then we had those long stretches where we would come down and just launch threes at the rim for absolutely no reason, with no rhythm, without making the Rockets make any type of decisions on defense, to have to guard the paint, to have to gang defend inside, or give up fouls. Early on, it looked like we were doing enough of that smart basketball to put ourselves in position to close out the game. We really did. We really got them into foul trouble. I think Harden had 4 fouls in the first half. Things like that. That's the type of thing you want to do against this Rockets team, so that in the fourth quarter, Harden and other guys have 4 or 5 fouls and are having to make decisions when you then continue to beat them up inside, and they have to make drastic decisions in order to keep you from scoring those easy baskets. Instead, we down the stretch of the game, we had, I think, a 6-7 point lead with like 3-4 minutes to go, and we got to this back in the day Cleveland Cavalier type basketball where you hand Luka the ball, everybody stands around. And then Luka was making early LeBron James decisions where he drives, has a step on his man, but then jumps in the air and looks to dish it to the outside. Eventually, the Rockets realized that he was not attacking the rim anymore, and they started staying home. They start deflecting passes, and it all just falls apart from there. No offensive rhythm. Our defense, anytime somebody missed a rotation, everybody was just giving up on the play. It was just bad all the way around. And then we get to the last play where literally all we have to do is secure a rebound, and we don't box out. Now, I will add that I did see P.J. Tucker had a fistful of Porzingis' jersey and was pulling him down. But at the same time, Porzingis, if he's boxing out, if his cheeks are into the hips of the man behind him, the man can't come over his back and tip the ball in. But, that's basic basketball fundamentals. We can't expect that to happen with this team down the stretch or at any point in the game, because we're just going to do this. All right, let me breathe. Jobless. All right. Anyway, Porzingis had a huge game, and in big part thanks to the fact that we were feeding him inside from time to time. And also, he was taking advantage of opportunities when presented with a catch and shoot or being forced to put up a shot. He just had a really, really good game overall. He was huge on the glass. He did what he was supposed to do tonight. Luka, for the most part, did the same. I hate that we put him in that position down the stretch where he's having to do everything. He was clearly tired. And so I think he missed. He had one airball 3, and then he had like an airball floater. And you could tell at that point that he kind of just lost his confidence in himself to be a finisher, and started just, like I said, driving and kicking the ball out to guys on the perimeter. The Rockets realized it and stopped reacting to him driving the way they had been. That's something I hope they look at in the film. And I think the biggest thing that we need to see is, if we're going to keep putting Luka in that situation where we're expecting him to close games, then he has to accept that responsibility and put the onus on the referees to make calls on him driving to the rim, or just be a bully and get to the rim at will, finish through the contact, whatever has to be done. The pretty driving and kicking is not not how you become a legend. LeBron didn't ascend past where he was until he realized that he's the biggest, strongest guy on the court and finished on those type of plays. You can kick it every now and then when the guy is completely wide open, whatever the case may be. But when you're that guy, you cannot get to the rim. There was one play where he literally got inside and could have had a floater or a layup, but instead tried to kick it to Maxey. Westbrook was waiting and deflected the ball out of bounds. Those are the type of things that you cannot have down the stretch if you're a superstar. Man, I'm not trying to like rag on Luka here. I have an even bigger problem with the fact that he was put in that position because it's not smart basketball. It's not what we should have been doing. What we should have been doing is either getting KP on the block or getting Luka on the block and giving them the ball down there, because the Rockets cannot guard either one of them in that position one-on-one. That means that somebody's going to have to double or they're going to foul them. And that happened a lot early in the game, but it did not happen down the stretch. There were several plays where Maxey or KP would set a screen or whatever, and they would get their man sealed off, and they would not get the ball. Feed those guys. We'd have nothing to lose by giving the ball to a 6'10 or 7'3 guy inside the paint when the other team has nobody who can get up there with them. Now, either Maxey or KP gets fouled, or they miss and have the best opportunity to get their putback. It's a win-win situation. Instead, we keep the ball on the perimeter. Instead, we launch threes, and instead the Rockets get back in the game and end up forcing overtime. In overtime, all the energy's gone. There's no confidence, and that was pretty much a ball game. It wasn't all bad. Like I said, I was super excited to get on this podcast and talk about all the great things that I saw tonight. Trey Burke turning into junior Steph Curry. KP looking like the future all-star that he's going to become with this team, with him and Luka playing. Luka had a triple-double. Hardaway had a good game. There was a lot to like in this game. It just all comes right back down to the inability to close the game, looking like a young team. And you could say, I know people do this. They get mad when you criticize the team. But the way I see it, if I didn't care, I wouldn't put the energy and time into criticizing the team. Criticizing the team means I care. When you like something, when you appreciate someone, whatever the case may be, when you see them not performing up to their potential, I would hope that you would have the heart and want to tell them where they're making mistakes and where they can improve. You don't just act like everything is perfect. You don't act like they're going to figure it out. You have to address it. So those are the weaknesses I saw. There's a lot to be encouraged by, but we have to change our strategy down the stretch. I saw a lot of people mad about the fact that Trey Burke didn't play. I understand that. I did appreciate that Rick did go with Seth to a certain degree because those are his rotations. But at the same time, at a certain point, things were falling apart. It probably did make sense to get Burke in there to try to get something moving on the offense because everything was stagnating. At the same time, Dorian Finney-Smith, another guy who he had a very, very rough night tonight. You hate to see it for him. He does not look like he is back in the form he was in pre-bubble at all. I think it's probably going to take him a few more games to get back to that point. I was glad to see Maxey make a few plays and hit a couple shots down the stretch and in overtime, but I honestly don't feel like he's fully back to himself yet either. Maybe it was the game. I don't know. Maybe we'll see Finney-Smith or whoever figure it out. Seth came out in the first scrimmage, looked like he couldn't miss a shot, and he's gotten worse and worse since then, so he needs to find his shot again. I'm out of breath. I'm really not breathing. I'm gonna take a break here. I'm gonna drop this ad real quick, and then I'm gonna come back and go over this box chart. I don't know what I've said. I don't even know if I've addressed the things that I wanted to address. I actually recorded this section of the podcast and then accidentally deleted it, so I had to do it again. So I don't even know if I captured the energy and enthusiasm I had on the initial run. But yeah, let me get some oxygen real quick, and I'll be right back. I'm gonna drop the ad right here. Brought the music back for this section. I know y'all think I was joking about getting some oxygen, but I really did just hit the inhaler. Yeah, so now that the rant is over, let's get into the other stuff that happened tonight. So I mentioned this earlier. Porzingis had a huge game, 39 points, 16 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He was 13 for 26 from the field, 10 for 11 from the line, 3 for 8 from 3, which is 37.5%. So that's average pretty much, or a little bit above league average. He had a monster game. He did what he was supposed to do against this Rockets team. It's unfortunate we weren't able to get it done for him. Luka at the same time went in and put up 28, 13 boards, 10 assists. Again, what he was supposed to do. He was as big as the biggest person on the Rockets. So you expect him to be able to get inside. You expect him to be able to draw fouls. I don't like that he only shot 9 free throws. That's not all on him. He was getting inside. He was not getting the same calls as a guy maybe that was on the other side of the court. We won't discuss that too much. But Luka, when he got to the line, 5 for 9. He's got to hit more free throws. And then 1 for 9 from 3. I think I'm on the record as not being a fan of Luka threes, but understanding that he has to shoot them from time to time. I wish he would live in the paint, but I understand that takes a physical toll on him, as well as the fatigue that the energy he has to expend when he goes inside. I get it, okay? The other guy that had a monster game, and nobody expected this, Trey Burke, off the bench, played 29 minutes, almost 30 minutes, 29:57. He had 31 points and 6 assists. So it's not like he was just chucking shots. He had 6 assists too. Was 11 for 16 from the field, 8 for 10 from 3, and I believe his misses were both late or in overtime. Trey Burke, if I'm not expecting him to do this every night, but I talked about it in the scrimmage game. He looks like a poised veteran type guy. He looks like he's ready to contribute, and I think he's going to be big for us down the stretch here in these last 7 games and going into the playoffs. As a spark plug type scorer off the bench, he seems to be a more I don't want to say poised. I'm going to say what we like about JJ. He seems to have all the good that we like about JJ without the negative necessarily. We have not seen him have a cold stretch yet, so that has yet to be tested. But I personally really appreciate what we're getting from him. At the same time, I could say the complete opposite about Delon Wright. I've been back and forth with him over the course of the season. I am a huge proponent of him being a part of whatever trade we pull off this offseason. I just don't think the fit is there the way people wanted it to be. I feel like we need to make that move as soon as possible with him. Let me not overlook Tim Hardaway Jr., by the way. He had 24 points as well, 5 boards, 3 assists, 6 for 12 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3, and 7 for 7 from the line. Tim Hardaway driving to the basket is something that I love to see. Of course, he can be a great spot-up shooter, but I think what he could add to this team if he's consistently slashing to the rim is what could make us a threat to somebody in a playoff type situation. Seth, as I mentioned, was cold. Dorian Finney-Smith, cold. He took a few shots that he never should have let go. He put the ball on the floor trying to create a couple times. Not 100% his fault because in the one possession I'm thinking about, nobody came to get the ball from him. So I guess he just felt like he had to do something. But saw him get out of character a few times, and that just, I think, a piece of him just not being back acclimated to basketball right now. Maxey made a few plays, particularly down the stretch. He did put Westbrook on the wall, so I did appreciate that moment. My man Boban played 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Shout out to Jay-Z. He had 6 points and 5 boards, and that was 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Completely changed the tone of the game at that time and caused a lot of problems for the Rockets. Would have loved to see him get another 4 minutes somewhere in the second half, but I guess KP was kind of doing what Boban did for us anyway. I don't know. I'm not going to harp on that for too long. End of the day, it all came down to bad execution down the stretch. The Rockets taking advantage of their opportunities. They hit some key shots when it mattered. Harden obviously had a huge game, 49, 9, and 8. Westbrook had 31, 11, and 8. The Rockets' style of play is not designed for them to do any damage in the playoffs, but they are a nuisance to play for whoever has to play them, and you really have to be disciplined to beat them, and tonight we were not that. Whew. Man, I can't say I'm surprised about the way this game went. I had no expectations really as far as getting wins or whatever the case may be. Our next game is Sunday against the Suns. If you recall, early in the season, Devin Booker killed us with a clutch shot. I feel like this game we could be in a very similar situation against the Suns on Sunday. And if that is the case, I welcome that. I want all of our bubble 8 games to be tight, because those are the situations we need to improve. So these 8 games are our opportunity to work on those things, to work on making sure we're running our offense, make sure we're being efficient, make sure we're taking advantage of the opportunities placed in front of us. And tonight we did not do that. Hopefully, if we're in that situation again on Sunday, we do. This is the longest Mavs post-game recap. It is the first real game, so I guess it was supposed to be. I appreciate whoever has tuned in to listen to me talk, maybe incoherently, ramble about the Mavericks here tonight. But, basketball is back, and every single bubble game that I have watched has felt like a playoff game. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but I'm personally loving this situation. Just as a fan of basketball, having not had the game for so long, not having an NCAA tournament this year, I missed this feeling. I missed the stress. I missed being on the timeline with you guys live tweeting during the games. Had a fun, nice interaction with all the international fans staying up late or getting up early to watch the Mavs tonight, today, whatever your situation is. Man, we're going to do it again on Sunday night with the Suns. Again, thank you all for checking in. MBibs, Bibs Corner. Hit the website, check out the Wurzburg Wall Watch. It has been updated with the latest donation to the wall. I appreciate you guys for sticking with it. I apologize for my tweets about hating the team and picking a new team and stuff like that. I'm just a little bit dramatic. But now I'm really just rambling. I'll catch you guys Sunday. Peace.